to discuss this, digging in now on both sides, we welcome White House Chief Correspondent Major Garrett in Washington with us. And Major, again, there's that that tweet from Donald Trump. He has again said that he would like the House Speaker's support, but that if he doesn't get it, he doesn't think it will hurt him at all. So this is all in advance of a meeting we assume is going to take place later this week. How do you expect that to go?
Well, we have 3 days to plan and prepare for this meeting, which is taking on all the trappings, theatrical and otherwise, of a nuclear arms summit during the Cold War. I mean, this super magnitude meeting between Paul Ryan, the Speaker of the House, and the presumptive nominee, Donald Trump. Will it resolve everything? In all likelihood not. But will it get the two of them close enough, possibly, to create a rough, if uncomfortable, alliance? Probably yes. Because the awkwardness of continuing this scrape between the two of them is not only profoundly visible, it's profoundly damaging to each of their interests. Donald Trump needs at least a semi-unified Republican Party behind him as he prepares for the Republican National Convention in July, and Paul Ryan needs to give his rank-and-file House Republicans some script to work off of in this intervening period between now and that convention, and then as they prepare for the general election. If that script says, well, we don't know what Donald Trump is, doesn't know what he believes, and we don't know what to do, well, that's not very helpful. So, from a political and strategic point of view, Paul Ryan is going to try to extract at least a couple of assurances from Trump on some significant policy issues to calm down restive conservatives worried that there is absolutely no ideological mooring beneath Trump whatsoever. And Trump is going to try to say to Ryan, look, I've got the votes. None of your House Republicans ought to cross me. You shouldn't have crossed me, but we can mend these fences now if you'll be in rough alliance with me. And I think that's probably the phrase that is most apt at this moment. Rough, uncomfortable alliance, but an alliance nevertheless.
And yet, Major, he did say in another interview yesterday, and I do quote, this is the Republican Party, not the Conservative Party, end quote. Again, that plays at least as more saber rattling here?
Well, it is a crystallization, I think, of Trump's approach to this political question, which is he understands, or perhaps is coming to understand, that for the better part of 40 years, the conservative faction within the Republican Party has been its fulcrum. It has been that which has moved it and has fed all of its ideological perspectives, fed all of its talking points, created all of its positions, and has essentially required of Republicans essential fidelity to core conservative precepts, either on taxes, national security, entitlements, immigration, and other trade, for example. Many of those precepts Donald Trump either disagrees with openly or is openly skeptical of. And you can see in that response, it's the Republican Party, not the Conservative Party. Trump essentially saying, I'm rewriting the rules for this party. I'm remaking it before your eyes. And I have the votes, at least to his mind, that gives me the power to do that. And it's that power play, literally, a play over power, who has it and using it to what purpose, is going on in public right now.
He also seems to be rewriting some of his own rules he'd laid out for himself vis-a-vis a general election. I want to play some remarks from a rally of his over the weekend and get your reaction on the other side. Take a look and listen.
She's married to a man who was the worst abuser of women in the history of politics. And Hillary was an enabler, and she treated these women horribly.
Donald Trump, Major, had said he would only respond, as we just heard him, if attacked first, and yet it now seems as though going on the offensive, at least for him, will be the rule of his own law, at least at this point.
Well, for today, I mean, look, so much of what Donald Trump says about what his tactical approach is, or what he is or isn't going to do, varies by the hour, varies by the day. But if there is something you can distill from that message, it's that the Trump campaign has figured out, and it's not necessarily a big insight, that Hillary Clinton and those who support her want to exploit the deep, unfavorable reservoir of either skepticism or opposition that Trump has engendered already among women voters across the political spectrum, even some Republicans, and certainly among independents and decidedly against Democratic-oriented women. And the way to try to deal with that is not necessarily to say on Trump's behalf, here's what I'm going to do for women, but to disqualify, if he can, Hillary Clinton through her own actions and the actions of her husband. That act of attempted disqualification is the Trump means by which to deal with this large problem he has in unfavorables with women voters. It's not necessarily lifting him up, but it's trying to take Hillary and Bill Clinton down and make this topic so uncomfortable for them that they don't raise it. That is a tactical use, that is rather a tactic that Trump has frequently used in his earlier life, non-political life, in negotiations. Take something that's an advantage from somebody else and try to deprive them of it. That's exactly what he's trying to do in politics here now with the Clintons and this particular innate political problem Trump has with women, disqualify the critics, and by doing that, give himself a chance to repair his image.
And what the next hour holds, I suppose, is anybody's guess.
Anyone's guess.
Major Garrett in Washington. We always appreciate it. Thanks.
Sure.